IMM comes to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the headlines. Inec says new parties seeking registration surge to 171. FAAN begins major reconstruction at Lagos Airport, advises early arrivals. Plus, Thailand names third prime minister in 2 years. The details of these stories are coming up shortly. Stay with us. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. We head to the national scene where the Vice President Kashim Shettima has restated President Bola Tinubu's unwavering commitment to diversifying the economy for the benefit of all and sundry. The Vice President described the President as a leader with the political will to take bold decisions. Shettima spoke at the State House in Abuja while hosting a delegation of the Nigerian Economic Society (NES) led by its President Professor Adeola Adenikunju. He cited President Tinubu's recent state visit to Brazil, where 5 memoranda of understanding were signed in aviation, foreign affairs, science and technology, and agriculture as deliberate steps to broaden Nigeria's economic base. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications in the Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nwokocha, quoted Shettima saying that Nigeria, with its youthful population and intellectual talent, is uniquely positioned to turn its demographic advantage into global dividends. Away from that, the federal government has announced a 1.85 billion naira allocation to fund the education and rehabilitation of the Chibok schoolgirls reportedly abducted by Boko Haram in 2014. The Ministry of Education said in a statement that the cash is part of the Chibok Girls Intervention Program and will cover tuition, accommodation, vocational training, psychosocial support and other related services for the rescued girls through 2027. The ministry's Director of Press and Public Relations, Boriwo Folashade, announced this in a statement. Folashade said the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Olaosa, said the funding falls under President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda and reflects the administration's commitment to safeguarding the education and future of Nigerian children. It stressed that under the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu, the federal government is ensuring that the rescued 108 girls entrusted to the care of the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs continue to receive comprehensive rehabilitation and academic support. In a separate development, the House of Representatives Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu has successfully brokered a resolution through his intervention, bringing an end to the standoff between the federal government and indigenous contractors. This came after the contractors owed for months staged a protest in Abuja. Following his appointment as chairman of the House Special Committee on Budget Implementation by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, Kalu convened an expanded meeting with the contractors, numbering over 80 across the country, with their leadership for an open dialogue on the issue. In attendance were the Minister of Finance, Wale Edu, Accountant General of the Federation, Shamasuddin Ogunjimi, and other top government officials. Speaking at the end of the meeting, the Deputy Speaker said that a mutually beneficial agreement was reached, expressing his gratitude to the Speaker of the House and his colleagues for entrusting him with the responsibility. From the electoral body, the Independent National Electoral Commission (Inec) has confirmed that the number of associations seeking registration as political parties has risen to 171 following the submission of 19 additional letters of intent. In a statement, Inec National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, said the updated list has been published on the Commission's website and other official platforms. He added that a review committee set up by the Commission had completed its assessment of the applications and submitted recommendations for final consideration. The Commission urged applicants to be patient and avoid practices that could delay their approval. In another development, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAAN, has announced that reconstruction work has officially begun at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. In a travel advisory issued today, FAAN urged passengers to arrive at the airport well ahead of their departure time to avoid delays or missed flights due to disruptions caused by the ongoing renovations. The reconstruction is part of a broader infrastructure upgrade in the aviation sector. Recall that on August 1st, the Federal Executive Council approved over 900 billion naira for aviation projects, with the rehabilitation of MMIA's Terminal 1 as a central component. Minister of Aviation Festus Keyamo stated that the MMIA project involves stripping the terminal to its structural base and completely rebuilding all mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems. Elsewhere, the Nigerian Railway Corporation (NRC) has announced the suspension of train services on the Port Harcourt-Aba corridor over safety concerns. Managing Director of NRC, Dr. Kayode Okpefa, disclosed this in a statement today, explaining that the temporary suspension was to allow for routine maintenance on the line. He assured passengers that normal services will resume on Tuesday, September the 9th, 2025. On security matters, Defense Headquarters has said that troops will sustain onslaught against terrorists and bandits throughout the farming season and beyond to allow farmers within the conflict zones, carry out farming activities unhindered. The Military High Command gave the assurance through the Director of Operations, Major General Marco Kanyi, during a news briefing at the DHQ. Major General Kanyi stated that troops have continued to respond to distress calls about terrorist activities, neutralizing and arresting several terrorists, thereby ensuring a safe environment for citizens. According to the defense spokesman, several terrorists were neutralized by troops during their operations in Mafa, Bama, Damboa, Goza, Kukwa, Jere and Ashirika Uba and Momba local government areas of Borno State, as well as Duhu and Gulak in Madagali local government areas of Adamawa State. On education matters, the West African Examinations Council (WAEC) has outlined key facilities schools must provide ahead of the full migration of the West African Senior School Examination to computer-based testing by 2026. Head of Examinations WAEC Loki Njogwani disclosed this during a sensitization program in Port Harcourt. According to him, schools must put in place a minimum of 250 functional laptops with 10% backups, a robust computer server capable of supporting 250 systems simultaneously, and a local area network setup. Other mandatory requirements include functional air conditioners and lighting uninterrupted electricity supply, a backup generator with at least 40 kVA capacity, CCTV, facility for candidates. Njogwani noted that the move to CBT would cut logistics cost, improve exam security, and widen accessibility. Now to the continent of Africa, where DR Congo has confirmed a fresh outbreak of Ebola in southern Kasai, reporting 28 suspected infections and 15 fatalities. Health officials identified the initial patient as a pregnant woman admitted in late August with bleeding symptoms in Bulapi, adding that she died within a week, followed by illness among hospital staff and lab workers who had contact with her. The National Institute of Public Health, who declared a heightened emergency this week after the number of potential cases grew, officially stated that Ebola is spreading once again in the region. Reports say provincial authorities first counted 8/3, but the number increased rapidly as symptoms typical of Ebola, high fever, vomiting and various bleeding spread amongst other exposed during treatment or burial. On the foreign scene, Thailand's parliament has chosen business tycoon Anutin Chankol as the country's prime minister, the third in 2 years after another leader, Patratan Singh was removed from office. Recall that Shinawatra, who belongs to Thailand's most powerful political dynasty, was removed by the Constitutional Court last week for ethical violations over her handling of the border dispute with Cambodia. Reports say Anutin's Buddha Thai party broke from the coalition led by the Shinawatras Pheu Thai and secured enough support in parliament to win the premiership. Still on the foreign scene, Kremlin has rejected any situation where foreign troops would be stationed in Ukraine to provide security guarantees. This follows a pledge by French President Emmanuel Macron that 26 Western allies had formally committed to deploying troops by land, sea or air to Ukraine the day after a ceasefire is agreed. After a summit of 35 countries dubbed the Coalition of the Willing, the French president said U.S. support would be finalized in the days ahead. Recall that President Donald Trump recently indicated that the United States backing could probably come in the form of air support, and Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky said he had spoken to the U.S. leader about maximum protection for Ukraine's skies. Still to come in the news. Striker Russo signs new long-term Arsenal. Tune for details of this and more in a moment. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. In conclusion on the news this hour, in business, Nigeria and China have pledged to deepen cooperation in the marine and blue economy sector, focusing on boosting port development and opening new markets for Nigerian aquaculture exports. This commitment was made during a meeting between the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, and the Chinese ambassador to Nigeria, Yu Dahai, at the ministry's headquarters in Abuja. Oyetola highlighted Nigeria's vast maritime endowments, including its 853 kilometers of coastline along the Atlantic Ocean and over 10,000 kilometers of inland waterways. He emphasized that Nigeria's maritime domain holds immense potential for shipping, port operations, fisheries, renewable ocean energy, marine tourism, and coastal infrastructure development. Still in business, the federal government has said that more mining licenses will be revoked as part of notifications of grant where applicants failed to pay, leading to an outright revocation by the Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake. On our health news, the Bauchi state government has released 300 million naira to the Child Nutrition Fund managed by UNICEF as part of efforts to eradicate malnutrition among children in the state. The chief of UNICEF's Bauchi field office, Nuzat Rafiq, disclosed this during an interaction with journalists. She explained that UNICEF would also provide a matching grant of 300 million naira, bringing the total intervention fund to 600 million naira. According to her, the fund release followed the familiarization visit of the new UNICEF country representative, Wafa Saeed, to the Bauchi State Governor, Bala Mohammed. And now to sports, where England striker Alessia Russo has signed a new long-term contract at Arsenal. The 26-year-old has scored 36 goals in 72 games since joining from Manchester United in 2023. Russo helped Arsenal win the Champions League in May and scored for England in the Euro 2025 final in July as they successfully defended their title. She scored 12 goals in 21 Women's Super League games last season, sharing the Golden Boot with Manchester City striker Khadija Shaw. Still in sports, London City Lionesses have made France international Grace Kayoro the most expensive women's footballer in history by paying £1.4 million to sign her from Paris Saint-Germain. The fee paid by the Women's Super League newcomers beats the £1.1 million Orlando Pride paid Tigres Unal to sign Mexico winger Elizabeth Ovale last month. Kayoro 28th is London City's 16th permanent signing of a busy summer funded by wealthy American owner Michel Kang. Capped 103 times by France, Kayoro has scored 22 goals for her country and played in 2 World Cups, 2 European Championships and the 2024 Olympics. On our entertainment news, Nollywood veteran Joke Silva has expressed her grief over the passing of her brother John Olabiyi Silva. Joke on her Instagram page confirmed the demise of her brother, who passed away on the 29th of August. John Olabiyi Silva died at the age of 72. And that's where we call it a wrap on this news bulletin. Do well to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTVLive.ng. Spectrum Television News at 12, WIMM. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon.